Rise of Skywalker is a stupid name.
Welcome to Let's Talk Comics. Hello, Wendy S. and no one else, because no one else is here right now. But if you are listening to it, thank you for joining us, watching or listening to this live to Let's Talk Comics. Wow. This is the show we talk about the newest comics of the week. DJ.
Yes.
I watched this Freeform show last night. Let me go ahead and get it. It's not Bunheads. It's not Bunheads.
It's not a Bunheads. Before you get ahead of yourself, it's not Bunheads. Before you
get a little uppity, all right? It's not Bunheads.
You were about ready to suggest Bunheads, and it was making me real anxious.
I don't remember what it's called. Hello, Caitlin Conway. Let me tell you about this Freeform show I was watching. So it's a group of young millennials.
They're working snap, those are my favorite.
They're working at a... Oh, I know how to figure out who's on the show, how to find the show. I'm like, I have no... There's no big names except for Jan from The Office. She's on it. So let me go ahead and look at The Office.
Jan from the office.
She's on
Jan
it.
from the office.
So it's these young millennials. They're working.
She's one of the millennials.
She's one of them. They work at this magazine, and they gotta be posting all the time. You know how that be. You gotta be posting all the time, making sure your engagement's up.
Caitlin's here, by the way.
Hello, Caitlin. Thank you for joining us. It's called The Bold Type, and
they're
on their third season, and they have this new boss named Patrick. And he's being really trying to get them to engage.
Is it about typing? Are they typing on the show because it's bold typeface kind of thing? The bold type?
No, you don't understand this show.
I don't. So anyway, the boss comes in.
He has to go, and he tells them to be more social on social media, and then they're like, we have to get him fired. Let's find some dirt. And then we find out that he pulled his pants down in a meeting at the other company he worked at, and they're like, he's a sexual harasser. But then we found out he did it to get equal pay for women, and I think I zoned out during that part because I don't know how pulling out your penis
is it a comedy show?
No, it's very serious. And this woman has taken a lot of pictures in a lesbian bar because she's a lesbian. But she kissed a guy, but she's going through a bad breakup right now, and she posted all about it on social media. So and then Betty, who the real singer, was on the show, and she sang, and she's like 6'2", and she was wearing heels that made her like 7 foot. I took 2 Benadryl last night after an allergy thing, and so I was feeling real loopy, and I retained way too much of the bold type.
Just for you that watched it live, we're going to hit the audio. 3, 2.
Well, now I got to tell everybody about the bold type all over again because that was during the audio stream. Yes, let's talk about the biggest comics of the week, starting with Marvel Comics.
And I thought we were going to both have read this, but we didn't, so I bungled it.
You blew it.
Oh, wait. I bungled it again.
There
it is. Symbiote Spider-Man.
So this is from the writer.
It's Peter David and Greg Land on art.
I was mainly trying to throw you under the bus there. I never remember who writes or draws anything.
It's Peter David. And I tend to like Peter David's work. I think he's most famous to me. I believe he's the creator of Amadeus Cho. And he's most famous for his very long Hulk run that included World War Hulk and all that stuff.
Whoa.
But he's got a long history. I think he's writing Scarlet Spider right now.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, I think so. And the art in it's real pretty. And it's set during the time Spider-Man had the black costume. And so right now he's dating Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, who's one of my favorites. She's a favorite character of mine. And it's good. It's a good comic. It's a beautiful comic. It's cool seeing the costume. This feels like just another Spider-Man story. It doesn't feel like it needs to be set during this time. Basically, the setup is I want to throw Mysterio up there if you want to give me the next one. Mysterio has a big heist he wants to do, and he's talking to his buddy that works for Kingpin. And his buddy's like, man, you're not a real villain. Kingpin's a real villain because he murders people. And Mysterio's like, yeah, so do I. But he doesn't, and then he pulls a trick, like a security guard during the bank heist he's doing, comes out, shoots. He pulls one of his mysterious tricks, appears behind him and knocks him out. But the bullet hits the woman he took hostage to help him in the thing, and she dies. And so Mysterio's like, I'm going to hang it up, but I'm going to put my costume on one last time to do a message saying I'm going to hang it up. And Spider-Man sees him, and he's like, hey, you're a bad guy, and beats him up. And I think that's supposed to motivate Mysterio to stay as a bad guy. And I don't know how any of this particularly pertains to Spider-Man needing the black. Like, I don't know why this story needed to be told during Black Costume Days Spider-Man.
Probably didn't.
There's also a scene
that involves the stories with him.
The Twin Towers. And so this is one of those weird, or wait, are you trying to say this actually took place in the time Spider-Man had the black costume, which was like 30 years ago or something, 40 years ago at this point?
Does he try to stop 9/11?
No, he doesn't, because it's set back then. He's foiling a heist from the Human Fly. They did a comic right after it happened with the Hero's Mourning. because they're all literally all in New York. DC had an easier go of that. They could have just
they sometimes pal around in New York for like a coffee or something. No one lives there.
So anyway, it was art's beautiful. I like that costume. It's cool being set in that era, but I don't know if it doesn't feel vital to me.
Bunheads, I don't think is set in
New York. So what do you what Marvel books did you read?
I read. Oh, that was nice. Danny M in the Discord posted a free download code for Cult of Carnage #1.
Cool.
So if you hopefully you already got that one. Zeral13 saying they're reading The Unstoppable Wasp, but I'm not a fan of the art on the current volume. That's a bummer. But so far, I think they're having a good time. I read the first volume of Unstoppable Wasp, or first issue, and I enjoyed it enough, but it didn't keep me coming back.
Wendy S has a suggestion for why they're making the Symbiote Spider-Man comic. They just had a lot of extra black ink they needed to use.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point. I read Cult of Carnage as well.
I didn't know that came out.
Yeah, it's Web of Venom, Cult of Carnage.
Cool.
And apparently there was something happened in a Carnage comic a long time ago where like Carnage took over a town in Colorado and like turned them all into Carnages, and then heroes came and they got turned into Carnages.
Yeah.
Then he stopped them because Spider-Man did a thing where you stop the Carnages with Venom.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. But apparently now with like the whole like Null and Carnage coming back and being resurrected and stuff, this cult is really fucking scary.
Nice.
It's really cool. Basically, anyone who was affected by Carnage before has like they're starting to kind of be taken over, and they're worshiping Null and Carnage and stuff, and they're ripping the spines out of corpses that are in the ground that were Carnages, and I think Carnage is like eating him or something.
Cool.
But it all centers around Misty Knight and John Jameson, that is Man-Wolf currently.
Cool.
Who was the astronaut.
Yeah. That was one of his bits. He was also Captain Jupiter. A lot of weird things happen to him in his space journeys.
Yeah. Well, we're currently still Man-Wolf.
Yeah.
And he was investigating the town, and I think what they tease at the end is that he has a Carnage symbiote inside of him, but he just doesn't know it now.
Weird.
And basically he's like spraying that, and Carnage has full control over who has that symbiote now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It was a fun, the way they doled out the information, it was very, very creepy.
Cold stuff, right?
Not for this.
Oh, okay.
But I'm guessing this is his story.
It's building to that big event. Thank you.
With Carnage, yes. But other Marvel books I picked up include Avengers No Roads Home, which had a really sweet moment with Hercules that I really liked, that kind of summed up his arc in Marvel Comics, because I don't know what he's been through over the time of publication. But I really liked the way that they wrote it, and they kind of summed up a lot of different people's points of view currently. And it was and they had a great tease of like most of the heroes in the story are off planet somewhere else fighting God of the Dark Sleep, and we had back on Earth, they show Avengers World, which is like a mobilized full Avengers force all over the planet, just trying to make sure like nothing stops or dies. And they teased Bill the Lobster, who I didn't know who that was.
Nice. I don't either.
It's a tiny little green lobster that had like cybernetics implanted with it, but it like telepathically talks to just like this normal like teen boy, and it's so weird. He's just like this like green lobster that doesn't do anything. But it's like, oh wait, come on everybody, team up, Blue Marvel, Bill the Lobster, like this, and I'm like, oh, you're having fun with this.
That's cool.
That was a cool dig.
Fun rumor. There's a rumor that Hercules might be a part of Eternals.
Very cool.
Eternals movie.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. I'm actually going to stick with this book. Super solid. It was Captain Marvel versus Rogue, but it was more dealing with their relationship.
Complicated.
They're like, we made peace, but we don't like each other.
Understandably.
And that was super cool. Invaders dealt with, because like Namor's got that really complicated history where he forgot who he was and and then they try to like explain away what it is.
Yeah.
This explanation was really cool. Basically, you get a cross country trip with Charles Xavier finding Namor, and he's like basically the first mutant that he finds, and they're looking for other mutants. And they find a mutant who can. It's really great. It's a small town mystery, like kind of like Twin Peaks, where these people are walking out of the woods, and they're talking about times when they were animals. They're like, we were animals.
Yeah.
Like I was a rabbit or I was a bird or whatever. And they're like, wonder what somebody out there is turning people into animals and then back into humans. You find out is no, those were animals, and he's turning them into people.
Interesting.
And he's doing it because he was alone. He didn't know he didn't really know what he was doing, and he was just like, he wanted a friend.
Yeah.
So any animal nearby would turn into a person, and it becomes like a quick confrontation of should we. Basically, police are going to kill this guy immediately. And Charles is like, well, we could actually make more mutants with this guy. And Namor's point is like, we should just kill him because he could turn mutants back into humans. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the confrontation. It also deals with some of the memory loss. And also they look at it as PTSD more than like comic booky, like whatever. It's more about the ramifications of why someone would be so angry that way. And I get that writing wise, you just want someone to be a dick because it's fun to stir up conflict.
Yeah.
So I really dig what they're doing there. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man deals with some conflict with Aunt May and how Peter's processing it. You're going to read that, so I don't want to say more about that. Out of just plain curiosity, because I saw Miles on the cover of this, I picked up Journey into Mystery, a War of the Realms tie-in.
Nice.
What an awful decision. What an awful decision.
I've been there.
Deathlock 2.0, didn't care about that. Didn't want to know more about whoever that was. I think that's it for Marvel. So
cool.
Let's talk about indie comics real quick. Shout out to Watchmen. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that one. I reread it this week, and I really good on the reread. The development of the characters is unbelievably impressive, and I read it before. It's just fun to catch stuff that they've set up, like like you find out on the first read, and when you go back and you see how they're hinting to things really early on, especially when it comes to the whole plot that Ozymandias has for New York. It's so captivating and interesting, and the philosophy behind each of the characters, and you realize that all of them, even like Night Owl, kind of bad people. Like he's probably the nicest guy. Yeah. That doesn't mean he's a good person though. No. He's and also they're all like rich crybabies. Yeah. They're all bad people. Yeah. And the comedian, most of all. I know there's a complicated relationship with him and Jane's mom.
That's generous. That's a generous way to describe it.
Based on the ending, based on where they end up as adults, it's.
But he's very much a bad person.
I can see the writer choosing to make a very complicated decision about what they wanted, how they wanted to end up with, like have Jane end up at the end of the story. Sometimes it feels like at the end I was like, this might just be edgy, just for it to be edgy's sake. But hey, there's people have had this conversation for over 30 years, and we'll find out more about it at the end of Doomsday Clock and with the Watchmen comic. But you read a different indie comic.
Yeah, I just, you know what? Honestly, I just saw this on the shelf, and so I picked it up. It's called Fair Lady. It's a fantasy book. We got some art for it, and it just takes place in a fantasy world where, I don't know, basically she's a bounty hunter. You know what I mean? And the first issue is a self-contained mystery, and it's 30 pages, which is a lot for a comic, and it's still a normal comic price. So that was nice, and I think they're doing some fun things there. So if you're looking for a fun or an interesting indie book, kind of like a bounty hunter type detective type tale set in a fantasy world, like the main city is in this body of what looks like a golem or a giant or something like that, that's from some sort of war. I don't know if it quite grabbed me in the first issue, but I like the art and I like what they're trying to do. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you are interested in more fantasy books.
There you go.
Yeah. Especially one that gives you some good bang for your buck.
There you go.
Yeah.
For DC, we read the same book, but I just want to give a quick shout out to the people in the Discord. Supermac picked up Catwoman this week. Elseworld Superman Volume 2, JL Odyssey, Supergirl, Superman, Wonder Woman, Low, Outer Darkness, Captain Marvel. Good pick. Danny Boy picked up Batman Who Laughs, Superman, Detective Comics. Ooh, don't know what those are. Lost Star Wars Comics. Ooh, don't know what that is. Cult of Carnage, more Carnage, X-Force. And then I believe they picked up Black Suit Spider-Man as well. And Faithless, which I don't know what that is. But hey, it looks like a good pick, my dudes. Let's talk about Wonder Twins, Wonder Comics. I'll just get it out front. I'll say the negative up front. I thought this was a more lackluster issue compared to the first two.
Agreed.
But still, really, I'm a big fan of the what is it, the group Cult of Annoyance or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, I like what they're.
Scrambler had a great plan.
Yeah, and it's funny. Other than the fact that his logo is an egg on his chest, it's like you could be a real supervillain. I wonder if they're building to that. Like he actually becomes a legit supervillain, because it's like his powers are scary. He's got a good plan. Like I don't know why he's hanging out with these C-listers. Because the rest are. And honestly, I kind of am more interested in them than I am the Wonder Twins themselves, which isn't great. I mean, you want your main characters to be the stars of your book.
Praying Mantis has. I love that his eyes are like bulbous, so like when he kind of squints and stuff, the Stephen Burns art is very impressive.
Beautiful. It's great. And then Jaina makes a friend whose dad, it looks like it's gonna be a super
Polymath and Philomath.
Yeah,
great names.
Great names if you can get them.
If you can get them. And we also learn more about Gleek.
Yes, and I love the design of Gleek.
I did like seeing the backstory that Gleek's got, like, he has his own PTSD from being a circus monkey.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good at it, but he's still got some talents.
Yeah.
So I like that he's an important part of this, like, trio, or this triplet of, no, trio, I said it right.
Yeah, you were on top of it.
And I nailed it.
Yeah.
Didn't trust myself. I like that he came in handy, and I also like the way that they showcase the action with the Wonder Twins. Like,
yeah, their power. There's one where he becomes a wave and she's a shark, and I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah. And he like dives at her, and they do like the fist thing, and that was really cool the way they connected, and they didn't know where he was, and the way they showcased all of that, I thought that was really interesting. He became a snake, and it's like, oh, that was just easier to put in a bag than a person. It's like, oh no, you got us in plastic.
Yeah. Oops.
And they're like, I did like amphetamine.
Yes.
Let's take this call on air. It's definitely a robocaller. I thought they just passed a bill to get rid of more of those.
Oh, who knows, man?
Probably.
Yeah. They probably passed a bill to do more.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's not get political on this show.
But
this comic is, though.
Yeah, I did like amphetamine.
Yes.
He's like, when was you last sleep? I was like, I never sleep. That's a good character. She probably needs to take a nap soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
No, overall, it's still a really enjoyable comic. Their costumes are dope, and Stephen Burns. I really hope Stephen Burns stays with this book as much as possible, because wowie zowie, it's beautiful. Also in comic news, I think it's NK. Let me go ahead and get this our writer's name correct, because Jamal Campbell, who works on Naomi, a different Wonder comic book, is moving his way over to a Green Lantern book with writer N.K. Jemisin. Jemisin, that's what it is. And it's going to follow, it's called Far Sector, and it's going to follow a new Green Lantern, but it also seems like it's in its own little continuity, and I think they just want to tell a story with this specific type of character who can do something that is emotion based. And N.K. Jemisin, who I've never read one of her novels, I do know that they are critically acclaimed and they've won many awards, and the people who have read them are big fans of them. So hey, I'm on board. I'm sold.
Same. The other DC book I read was Superman.
I read that too,
and I'm looking forward to kind of not diving more into John's torture. I don't like the idea that John's been tortured for years. It's kind of bumming me out. By people that look like his parents. Not a fan.
My theory, I really hope this ends up being what it's going to be, because there's like Justice League and a couple other books right now that are drawing John as a kid still, and so that's cool that people are talking to each other to make sure stuff's uniform across all their platforms. I'm getting a vibe that this John is an Earth 3 John, and I think that'd be a fun twist, and also giving us younger John as well, because Brian Michael Bendis has written kids before.
Yes.
And that's okay. Like, he's writing Young Justice right now. That's kids. And Naomi. So I don't think there needs to be an older John. I like the idea that maybe our John is stuck on R3 for maybe like 2 weeks. Not great either.
Yeah.
But hey, kids get kidnapped all the time in comics. They bet it's
just what happens. Talk to the Robins.
If you're getting into the superhero business, that's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of maybe like a body swap that could really switch it up, but also don't we see Rogol Zar and Zod and other guy from the Phantom Zone is attack
the ship, Grandpa. And then we're still trying to deal with Jor-El. We're still really angry with him, even though he did save John from the bad stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm excited. It seems like
Action
we've kind
Comics
of closed.
Is really good.
Action Comics is really good. And we're kind of closing the book on this, so I'm excited to move on to other parts of this story. Personally, other fun DC news. Jorah Mormont is going to be Batman.
He is
on Titans.
He looks so tired.
He's
a handsome boy.
He is a handsome boy, and I also just like that we're not going to deal with any more like awkward stunt guy in a bat costume. Like, just have him around.
They're cowards for not making it Louis Tan.
He's like a year younger than Brenton Thwaites.
Just add a couple lines right here.
There you go.
Crow's feet.
So what other DC books I picked up? I don't know what else I picked up for DC.
I picked up Hawkman,
okay,
which has just genuinely been a fun adventure book overall.
Cool.
And for some reason, I couldn't tell you why this happened. There's a big invasion of evil Hawkmen. Not like Hawkman, like just basically people that look... Nope, how am I going to explain this? Like other winged people.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Hawkman, our main guy, Carter,
pulls
all past Hawkman through the timeline, and they all come and fight the other winged Hawkmen.
It sounds confusing but cool.
The big dragon Barbados guy.
It's like when Doctor Who's like hanging out with his
other Doctor Who's.
Yeah,
they're
the other Doctor Who's.
Yeah, they like you get like the giant like hawk from DC Metal. That was cool seeing him fight. You get the one that like is a Wild West one. That was pretty cool. And you get the one from Krypton. You got the one from Senegal. You got the one from Wayne.
Yeah.
There's a couple of good ones. I will say a personal favorite this week was Batman because you got the Bachelor and Bachelorette parties for Catwoman. And it's her and Lois sneaking into the Fortress of Solitude, trying wines from all over the universe, which is so cool. It's like something about it. It's just so fun the way that they got creative with it. And also, there's a couple different artists who worked on this book.
Cool.
They had a lot of fun with this and made me happy. Also, it looks like it's the end of this weird dream sequence thing.
Cool.
I'm done with it.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody is.
But
except
yeah,
Tom King.
It went way longer than any. His A Few Good Men was 2 issues.
Yeah.
That should have been longer than this. But hey, you do what you got to do, man. That was a lot of fun. And I also picked up the end of Titans because there was one more. I hadn't finished it. I couldn't not finish it. What am I, a crazy person? Flash is Trickster stuff.
Trickster. Heard he lost his speed.
No.
Okay.
He lost something else. His legs.
Okay.
He sawed off his legs with a chainsaw.
Gross.
Yeah, I was genuinely super shocked by it. But hey, it's Trickster. This could just be a trick, my dudes. Detective Comics 1001, not 101. Add an extra 0 in the middle there.
1001.
Yeah, I think Echo Spider. I think you read this. You can go ahead and just tell me how it goes from now on. The Arkham Knight stuff. It's not just one night, guys. It's a bunch of them.
Oh, snap.
And, their gear can mess with Batman's gear, but Batman's gear can't mess with their gear. You know, classic. And they fight in the sun while Batman fights at nighttime. They make a small sun that goes off above Gotham. So I think Batman doesn't have a little gadget that can stop that.
Wait, what?
Oh, trust me.
They have a sun?
They made a sun. They don't have one. They made one.
They can't just come out during the day? And also, what is Batman like? Does he melt in sunlight now?
Bad man. Batman. Remember?
All right. Well, I don't need to pick that up, it sounds like.
No, but I do want to know how it turns out because I like Peter Tomasi. And for the most part, Detective Comics has been pretty solid. Right? Right?
Anybody?
Am I crazy?
Somewhere out there?
You guys let us know in the Discord. We read off some of your guys' reads, and we want to know more, so let us know. And also join us Sunday, 5:30 p.m. PST, for the premiere watch-along of Game of Thrones Season 8. We're doing a Q&A with some friends who are joining us at my house. So we'll have pizza probably.
Come to Sam's house.
Anyone whose $50 tier gets my address and phone number. I'm never going to promise that. Never in a million years.
Ever. I mean, you'll get it, but don't worry. We're not going to make any promises.
But I can't promise it, but you are going to get it. Yeah. Scout's honor. No, yeah, we're gonna be doing that Sunday, and that's not a. We will be possibly doing another watch along. So for the month, so just because this was last minute, I didn't want to make it just the watch along for the month. So you can join us.
You guys got extra special stuff. We're doing exciting things.
There you go.
Like you got early looks at stuff for Might Be Awesome that we're doing, and we're gonna be doing more Game of Thrones coverage for that as well with our pal Trisha Hirschberger.
Yes, Monday.
So there's a ton of exciting stuff happening.
Tune on Monday for our breakdown and also question and answer and review. And you're getting so many good ones. Caitlin, you're doing your best, girl. You're watching. She's in season 3 right now. She's trying to catch up. I'm real proud of you. You're making your way through. She just got to the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
So she's probably real bummed.
Yep.
Probably. A lot of pretty people died during that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And so that was a good one. So tune in Monday. We'll see you then. And for anything else, just check out the Patreon and check us out on Twitter at Might Be Social, Instagram, Twitter. You guys know it. That's bye. Bye.
Bye.
That's it. Get out of here. Bye.